Hi everyone. Today we're going to explore a huge shift that will completely change how you approach manifesting. This is about moving beyond constant doing and into truly embracing your being. Because so often we're taught that manifestation is about more action, more visualizing, more affirmations, more scripting, more chasing. And for a lot of people, this turns into a trap. It makes manifesting start to feel like a job, like something that you need to do in order to make the desired outcome happen, as opposed to something that is already happening automatically. You end up repeating affirmations over and over, meditating for hours, doing every technique you've ever heard of, and yet the thing you want still refuses to show up. And it can be incredibly frustrating because you're supposedly doing everything right and still nothing is changing. And then you start to wonder, is this even real? Am I just fooling myself? I've been there and I've seen many others go through it as well. And what I've learned is this. Manifesting what you want doesn't happen by following a to-do list. It's not about ticking enough boxes so the universe finally rewards you. When you treat it this way, we're actually projecting out a reality of lack, of it's not here yet, so I need to keep trying harder. The real magic of manifesting isn't in the physical doing, it's in what you're aligning with, in what you're choosing, in what you know to be true. You have to understand that everything is all just consciousness. The fulfillment of your desires already exists as one specific timeline out of the infinite possibilities that are available to you. And the easiest way to receive it isn't to force your way to it, is to tune yourself to the timeline where the fulfillment of your desires is already laid out. Think about it like a radio. You can't get jazz music by frantically fiddling with the buttons and meanwhile being tuned to the rock station. To get the jazz music, you need to turn the dial to the jazz station. And there it is. You immediately get to hear the music that you want to listen to. And it's the same thing with manifesting. The dial is your internal state. What genuinely feels true to you, the story that you're convinced that you are currently living, that's what you are causing to be projected out and to be made manifest as physical fact. So instead of trying to make things change from a place of, I need this to happen, the shift is to be the person who is already living in that reality. Manifesting isn't about making something happen out there. Although ultimately that is the effect and the result that gets produced from doing this. But it starts by peeling away all the roles, all the masks, all the stories that aren't truly you. So you can align with your authentic self. When you're deeply self-aware, when you know who you are beyond the labels and the facts of this world, you naturally start to radiate a different energy. And that energy is one of wholeness, of not needing to prove yourself or fix yourself in order to be worthy of what you want. You stop trying to make things out there be different, and instead you choose within what you want to experience next. And from that space, everything you desire begins to match itself to what you're choosing, without struggle or force. This is the point where you stop chasing after abundance and you start embodying it. Instead of seeing it as something out there that you need to reach for, you recognize it as a natural extension of who you already are. It flows from you as opposed to being something that you need to get from out there. Radical self-acceptance automatically creates this abundance. Why? Because you're no longer trying to contort yourself into something you think will earn you love or success or approval. You're simply being yourself. And that causes you to project out the reality that matches you perfectly, very naturally and effortlessly. The moment you stop looking for external validation to prove you're worthy, the world will reflect your inner knowing back to you. And this is where manifesting what you want starts to feel very easy. There's a big difference between taking action from a place of alignment and desperately striving to try to make what you want happen. When you're taking action from a place of loving the path that you're on and knowing that you're living the life that you want to be living, it feels natural, it feels exciting, it feels effortless. You'll get an idea that drops in while you're walking the dog, or you'll get the sudden urge to call someone, or you'll get a random nudge to check a website that you haven't thought about in months. Whereas if you're desperately striving to make things happen, you'll be living from a place of fear and stress and worry. You'll have this feeling of, I must do something or it won't happen. And when that is the state that you're living from, you cause that to be your experience. So you keep creating this sense of urgency and this feeling that you need to find the right strategy and that you must do the right things or make the right decisions because everything is hanging in the balance. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you're never going to get what you want. But when you trust the bigger part of you and you surrender to the source that is creating everything, you stop trying to force life to bend to your will. And instead, you allow your higher self, that part of you that already sees the bigger picture, to guide you and orchestrate things for you. Your intuition becomes your GPS. You don't need a rigid step-by-step plan. You just follow the next clear nudge in this moment and the next moment, and that way the path unfolds perfectly. And the final piece is this. You don't wait for the thing to arrive before you start living it. You embody it now. Ask yourself, if I already knew that this is the path that is laid out in front of me, how would I feel? How would I walk into a room? How would I talk to people? How would I treat myself? Start shifting your identity to that version of you. You'll notice that your thoughts, your emotions, your choices will naturally align with that reality. And the physical world will automatically conform and cause that reality to play out. The ultimate freedom is knowing that the fulfillment of your desires is already yours. You're not chasing it, you're not waiting for it. You're living them now from the inside out. You're already on that timeline. You know that this is the story that is unfolding. It's like when you've booked your ticket to go on a trip. Once that ticket is booked, now automatically your focus is on all the preparations you need to make before you go, on choosing what you're going to do once you're there, on getting everything together, on buying the stuff you need for the trip, and so on. You're no longer trying to do things to make the trip happen. It's no longer a question mark whether you're going. You know that you're definitely going because the trip is booked. And therefore you very naturally shift into a different mode where it's all about being the person who gets to go on that trip and not someone who would really like to go on that trip but can't because of this and that and is desperately trying to figure out a way to be able to go. The focus is very, very different depending on whether you know that the trip is booked or not. And that is what it means to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. You're not trying to make it happen. You know that this is happening, and everything that you're doing and thinking and saying is all geared up towards that because it's definite and obvious that this is happening. So your energy is all on experiencing the unfolding of it, not on making it happen. It wouldn't make sense to put energy into making sure you can go on the trip if the trip is already booked. Your energy automatically shifts once you know that that outcome is already in place. So you have to learn to give yourself that guarantee, or to make that booking, metaphorically speaking. You have to go, I get to have this because the source has created it for me and has now laid it all out in front of me. And you proceed to live out that path and that experience. It's a very different feeling to when you don't know whether you're going to be able to go on the trip or not. And you're trying like mad to get something to happen to confirm that you definitely can go on that trip. So you have to learn to give yourself that confirmation, to know that you get to have it because you have chosen it. And so now you know that the source has created it for you, without needing to see evidence first before you give yourself permission to know that you definitely get to have this. And that's when manifesting stops being hard work and starts being your natural state of being. If this resonates with you, take a deep breath now and shift yourself into the reality where you are already on the path where you get to live a life you love. That state is the key. The rest will follow automatically. That is it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.